Okay, let's just jump right into it. Middle income homes are absolute trash today. It's no secret that pretty much everything across the board has gone down in quality post-COVID, but some areas I feel like have cut corners and have taken advantage of the consumer more than others. And the biggest one that seems to be standing out, based on, of course, anecdotal evidence I've had, is the housing market. I consider myself to be an easygoing person in public. If I get a bad meal, I don't take it back. I just bite the bullet and have a crappy meal. That's fine. People are working hard. Well, they were. And I don't want to bother them with extra work. A couple weeks ago, a teenager backed up into my vehicle, got out. She was in tears, freaking out. I was fine. Zero damage to either of our cars. I didn't take her information. I let her go on her way. I just gave her a fatherly, hey, it's okay. We all make mistakes. Just check your periph more. Short for peripheral. And people can judge as they will and say, wow, you're an idiot. You should have got her information. You should have taken your food back. The bottom line is, I like to keep things simple and easy on myself because I don't really like people that much. The less I have to deal with shit, the better I am. So when I buy a home every 2 or 3 years at this point, I want to get something new that I don't have to worry about. And that's exactly what I've done for the last 16 years. I buy a new construction home and I flip it after 3 years because typically we're sick of the area, we want to go somewhere else. In this last instance, we actually moved across the state from Minnesota to South Carolina. Big change. And with that move came an even bigger change in quality. Lennar is one of the largest builders in America. They have homes going up all across the country. And these aren't refined, custom-made, custom-tailored homes. No. This is plug and play. It's basically Lego at this point. They ship all the pieces in, they snap them in, and then they move on to the next one in a month. I swear they get these things up in 2 months tops. None of that's even a complaint so far. With Lennar and a lot of these big builders, I know what I'm getting. There are only a few floor plans to choose from. I think there's less than 20. They might have different outside versions. There's 3 or 4 per model, but still the insides are basically identical. Maybe you get a Mario Kart mirror mode of the house, but essentially if you know 5 or 6 people in the neighborhood and you've been in their homes, you know every house in the neighborhood. I have a full-time job and I basically have a second full-time job with my YouTube channels, plural. I have a second channel, Adam Does Movies, which I've been doing a lot longer. You can feel free to subscribe to both of these. I would love it. And if you like the video, that'd be an extra perk. Anyway, I've been doing this for a long time and it takes a lot of energy and a lot of focus. So I don't want to be screwing around with house shit. I want to move in, avoid getting gutters like I always do, mow my lawn, make sure it looks presentable, keep things nice and tidy, and then just be done with it. Work on my stuff. Hang out with my family. Go do shit outside of the home. I absolutely respect people that buy used homes that are fixer-uppers and they have to go through the whole process. I've actually fixed up quite a few homes with my grandparents back in the day. That was a thing they did. They bought old crappy crack homes, cleaned them up and flipped them for a profit. It was a great idea and it worked out for them very well. But my hobby is my passion, which is YouTube. So let's get down to it. This is going to focus on Lennar, but I'm sure all the other big builders are doing the same bullshit across the board. The first of the 3 Lennar homes I bought was in Minnesota prior to COVID. It was a beautiful home. We were incredibly happy with it. It was the dream home for us, middle-class folk. And there was customizing at the time. They don't offer any customization anymore. But at the time, you could pick out wall colors, you could pick out carpet styles, you could choose if there was a fireplace, a gourmet kitchen, different types of countertops. There was a good amount of stuff. They had these big books in a room that you would go through and swatch palettes, and they were very friendly and engaging customer service people. It was a good deal. You even got to select your lot if you wanted one with a pond behind it, if you wanted to be close to a pool, if you want an end lot, so you only have one jackass neighbor to deal with. Now, all of my complaints going forward may not necessarily have to do with just the fact that the quality has gotten worse. I've heard from friends, family that live in Minnesota that say there is a dip in quality there. It might be more magnified because I'm on the East Coast in a deep southern state. I don't know, like, rules and regulations wise, if they have a lot less of that and they're able to cut corners further. Not really my interest right now, but I'm sure someone can tell me in the comments. Minnesota is a cold ass state. It gets freezing cold. Like to the point where if you're outside for 15 minutes unprotected from the elements, you die. You freeze to death. So just for public safety, they do have to build these homes pretty damn solid. A lot of insulation, thick concrete. You could play loud music in the home and it would be muffled outside. When I collectively with the rest of the middle-aged people hit our midlife crisis at the same time, which was right around COVID era, I wanted to try something new. My wife and kids were ready to try something new, so we went to a warm state. I hate the cold. We had never been to South Carolina. We didn't know what to expect, and holy hell is it a different world over here. And I can't say for the best. But we found a community that we absolutely loved, and we couldn't wait to move in. The problem was everybody else wanted to move in too, so there was no houses really available for a long time, except for 3 or 4 options. And within 24 hours, those 3 or 4 options became one option. And either we bought it, or we didn't get a home for another year. Well, we were desperate, so we took it. We didn't really like the layout, but it was a big square footage. It had all the rooms and requirements we needed. It fell within the purview. And so we took it, we took the plunge, and we moved to South Carolina. We got the place inspected, which I thought was a mistake. It was an argument with the wife. She said, Adam, we have to get it inspected. I just kept thinking, why would we waste the money to have an inspector come in and say, yeah, looks great. They hit code, which they have to. Lennar has to have it inspected internally several times anyways. Regardless, we paid, we got it inspected, and the person did a shit job because they didn't notice a myriad of issues that the place had. I guess it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. We move into this place and immediately I notice about a 30% drop in craftsmanship. There were nail pops all over the place. The paint was not like finely cut around corners and edges. The showers and the counters had weird spots that couldn't even come clean. Overall, the home was dirty looking. Going up the stairs on the wood panel, there were actual nails, big ass nails, jolted out of the wood. And these are not things you can easily fix. They would have had to take out the stairwell to fix this thing. Walking around the home, the wood floating floor, creaking and crackling everywhere you go. Keep in mind, these are not cheap homes, but they are built incredibly cheap. So fish out of water moving into this place, already going into a home that I know I'm not happy with layout wise, became 10 times worse when I found out the place was built like total shit. First night there was a hot one. Again, we're from Minnesota, so I knew the South got humid in the summer and that's when we moved in. But I kind of expected the home to stay cooled and not be 93 degrees, which is what it was overnight. Because the AC unit wasn't working. What? What the fuck did I pay an inspector for if the AC unit doesn't work? So the HVAC guys come out and yep, they find a problem. There's a leak. So there's a leak and naturally I paid for that because the AC's just shooting out into the attic. At one point, 6 months in, the dishwasher decided the steam was so strong it was gonna start melting through the side of the trim. The wood paneling, the cheap ass wood paneling they put up, the paneling on the kitchen island was so thin and crappy that the steam from the dishwasher was warping it. Naturally, some of these problems don't fall on Lennar because this looks like it's a machine issue. It's a mechanical error by the company that made the dishwasher. So it's a big circle jerk of trying to figure out who's in charge of what. Then you have to put in claims using their online support center, and then someone calls you to confirm and you have to do a video walkthrough. Then you have to schedule someone to come out and take a look at the problem. Then he has to schedule out someone to come out and actually fix the problem. The whole thing can take a couple of months. Good thing I have 15 problems to deal with, and everyone in the block that I talk to has their own set of issues. So Lennar, in their infinite wisdom, decides that instead of making good homes right out of the gates, we'll just slap this shit together and they can file as many complaints till the cows come home within a year. Because after a year, guess what, assholes? You're not covered for anything. And that goes doubly for my rooftop that decided to start leaking into my master bedroom. I guess I have a lemon of a home. I had the floor replaced. I had the panel on the dishwasher replaced. Not the dishwasher itself. They just kind of forgot about that one. Had to fix the roof myself because that happened right after that year was up. So I'm in the attic trying to find the problem, patching the ceiling. Hey, I'm sure glad I bought a new home so I didn't have to deal with this crap and I could focus on my other stuff. He said sarcastically. Maybe this was a one-off. Let's talk to the neighbors. Oh, guy 2 doors down has a leak in their ceiling too. What are the odds? Well, maybe a really bad storm came through. There was a hard rainstorm a couple weeks ago. But bitch, if you think that should cause your roof to leak, you need to stop by Minnesota sometime in the summer. We have tornadoes roll through like it's nothing, and the houses hold up immaculately. And also, to be fair, yeah, the storm probably did cause the leak because these houses are built out of plastic. They are literally plastic homes out here. There is a couple years you have to wait before you turn around and sell a home. Logistically speaking, you can get hit with a fine or something, a tax. I don't know all the rigmarole. That's what the real estate agent's for. But as soon as that threshold was up, we couldn't wait to sell and get the hell out. And so what did we do? Well, we were stuck between a cock and a hard place. We don't want to go back to Minnesota because I hate the weather. I did a stint in Arizona for a couple years. I kind of liked Arizona, but it gets really hot and there's really not a lot of water, and that's a problem for me. I like the ocean. I like the damn ocean. And the biggest issue of all of it is we have kids that have a lot of friends in a neighborhood that we really do love. It is a beautiful neighborhood, and it's just getting better and better and larger with more things to do. We didn't want to come here and just turn tail and run after 2.5 years. So what we decided, how we bridge this gap, is we found a rental in the same exact community. We are renting for a year in another Lennar home. And guess what? It's got a lot of problems. I think my favorite one in this house is that the AC unit is right next to the living room outside, and you can hear that fucker going 24/7. That is the sound it makes in the home. When we sit down and watch TV, we have that nice ambiance right outside the window. That's just good building. That's just good planning. In fact, you can't hear it, but I can actually hear it in my studio, and it's down there. It's down the hall, and I can hear it. I'm pretty fine with the rental situation right now. I have no idea what we're going to do next. We have to be here for a year, and then it's up in the air, George Clooney. You tell me. I mean, what have you had these experiences? Are you a first-time homeowner? Have you thought about buying a house and going with Lennar? I wouldn't. I'd tread lightly. Or have you been with another builder that's just as atrocious? Or maybe one that's new that you're actually very happy with? I would love to hear from you in the comments below. This is kind of a part one of a several part rant set I'm doing on home ownership. I'm going to do one on buying and selling homes, and I'm going to do another rant on just moving in general and how much fun that can be. If you like the video, please like the video and go ahead and subscribe if you're new here. I would love to have you stick around to this and my main channel, Adam Does Movies. And hopefully, I see you next time.